Hello friends, today we will start with the next topic of our life processes, that is the first topic, nutrition. Now in this nutrition, before we go further deeper into, one must at first understand what you mean by nutrition. Nutrition is a mode of obtaining food by an organism. Why? Because food is such a thing without which we won't be getting energy to do the other life processes. So the fundamental life processes is the nutrition, which means the mode of obtaining the food. Now all the living organisms, depending upon the mode of nutrition they get, they can be broadly classified into autotrophic mode and heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now autotrophic nutrition is shown by the green plants and some blue-green bacteria, whereas the heterotrophic nutrition is shown by the organisms other than these which I have discussed. Let us first move on to the autotrophic mode of nutrition. The autotrophic mode of nutrition, the green plants or the blue-green bacteria perform by the process which is known as your photosynthesis. Now photosynthesis is a fundamental process in plants' life which they perform by the help of certain raw materials. Now these raw materials includes water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll plus sunlight. Now these fundamental raw materials which the plants require, whether they are truly required or not, that can be justified by some activities given in your NCERT book. Now water is essential because without the presence of water, the plants will wilt. They will not get the supply of hydrogen ion. Oxygen will not be liberated. And the next fundamental raw material is the carbon dioxide, which you can prove by the activity in which you have to keep KOH, potassium hydroxide. This potassium hydroxide has the capability of removing the carbon dioxide from the periphery of the plant, which is kept inside a bell jar. Now once one of the raw material is missing, if you perform the starch experiment with the leaf of such a plant, you will find that the plant is not responding by showing the blue-black coloration. So this experiment will prove that carbon dioxide is an essential element. The next is chlorophyll. Students, you might have observed that there are certain plants which have variegated leaves. And these variegated leaves are what? The leaves which have colors other than green. You might have seen money plant. Money plant has such kind of leaf in which some portions are green and some portions are differently colored. Now these plants leaves, if you after destarching, now what is destarching is keeping the plant in darkness for 48 to 72 hours. After that, when you will be subjecting it to the sunlight for doing photosynthesis, then you take out a leaf and do the starch experiment. You will find that the portions which were non-green does not respond to the blue-black coloration, indicating photosynthesis has not taken place, no starch formation has taken place. Last activity is related to the sunlight, which is the another factor for doing photosynthesis. Now sunlight, for this again you have to destarch a plant and then you will keep it, you will take out one leaf and then you will again perform the starch experiment. When you will be performing the starch experiment, you will see that since it was kept in darkness, so it could not do photosynthesis and it does not turns blue-black, indicating that no starch is produced. So plants need all these raw materials for doing the process which is called as your photosynthesis. Now let us talk about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, which is shown by the other organisms other than the green plants and the blue-green bacteria. Now heterotrophic nutrition again can be divided into three types: holozoic, saprophytic and parasitic. Holozoic mode of nutrition is the type of nutrition which is shown by the organisms including the human beings, which has fundamental 5 steps. Now these include your ingestion, that is taking of food. Next is digestion. Then is your absorption, assimilation, and finally it is egestion, that is the waste which is thrown out of the organism's body. There are certain organisms which take their food from the dead and the decaying organisms. These are called as your saprophytic organisms, and the nutrition is also known as your saprophytic mode of nutrition. And last is your parasitic. In case of parasitic nutrition, the organism takes the nutrition from the living host, like for example cuscuta in case of plants, like for example leech, like for example lice, like for example intestinal worm, etc. So today we will take upon the Holozoic form of nutrition, in which we have to read the human digestive system. In this, at first you should know the digestive system completely, and for this the first thing which you should be knowing is the digestive system or the alimentary canal starts with the mouth and it ends into the anus. The alimentary canal in case of human beings is 9 meters long, and after the mouth the next thing is your esophagus, followed by your stomach, then is your small intestine, then is your large intestine, and finally the part of the large intestine through which the egestion takes place, that is your anus. Now in the mouth there are many things, but the fundamental thing, since we are studying about that of your digestion, it will be by the help of the saliva secreted by the salivary glands. Now the salivary glands secrete the saliva, which has an important enzyme in it. The name of that enzyme is called as your salivary amylase. Now salivary amylase digests the starch into a disaccharide, that is your maltose, and the food now in the mouth becomes soft because of chewing with the help of the teeth and mixing it with that of the saliva by the help of the tongue. Then it moves to the food pipe, and the way by which it goes through the food pipe, it is called as your peristalsis. It is highly muscular object which shows contraction and relaxation. Then the food goes into the stomach. In the stomach, the food is acted upon by the gastric juice, which is very important for the digestion of protein, because here we have one inactive form of enzyme which is called pepsinogen, which in presence of HCl becomes active to form pepsin, and the digestion of protein can take place. The stomach wall is lined by mucus so that corrosion does not take place because of HCl. From the stomach, the food goes to the small intestine. The small intestine is highly coiled, and inside the small intestine are present villi, which helps in the absorption of the food after it is acted upon by the various enzymes secreted by the pancreatic juice, as well as by the help of your, this is a pancreas, it secretes a pancreatic juice containing various enzymes which will be helping in the digestion of fats, carbohydrates, and that of your proteins. And in the small intestine, after it gets absorbed, then by the help of the bloodstream, it is taken up to each and every cell of our body for the assimilation part. After the assimilation is done, next, this is our large intestine. In the large intestine, there is no digestion or absorption of food. It only absorbs the water, so that now the undigested food gradually becomes solidified, and finally it is stored into the rectum and is thrown out of the body through the anus from time to time.